Howdy. Time once again to do some retro CSS battles. These are daily targets from the past, February 9th, February 10th, and February 11th of 2024. Let's get right to it. So a pill shape like this is always seems to me to be to start with an element. An element seems to be the way to go with that. So we put our background on, and I'm going to go ahead and start with just the color, and then we're going to do the margin changes that are required to get this shape. I'll put a temporary border radius in to just hint at our we'll need a radial gradient. All right, so more top margin. There it is, 40, 100, and that's our side margins, 200 tall, 210, 220. Now, I think so. 100 is not right on the margins, but also I think we need to do a border, which means we're going to need to change the height. So border solid, and then we're going to need this color, 10 pixels, 20 pixels or something. That does make this taller. How about 180? And let's knock out the background. All right, now we're getting somewhere. How about more border radius? Closer. More side margin by 1, 2. Oh, so is that right? Yeah, 20 pixels looks right. 20 pixels solid. And then that color. All right, so what do we need now? Weirdly, I don't think that the next part, so that's just getting started. That's not particularly hard, but it is essential. All right, so I think I want to do this stem next. So let's do the background. Conic gradient. And that's going to be dark. 75%, and then this light color, and then another color stop is 0, and we're going to make it narrow and tall so we need both an X and Y. Yeah, so 20 pixels. Well, actually no, just 20 pixels is perfect, and then we move that into place. 100. And then a little more over, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 190, and then downward. And that's fine. Okay. So to get the middle part, we'll need another element, and for the inner element we just are doing, well, what's left over, right, which is that inner section. To do that, we need to alter the margins and the height and the background. We don't have a background on this yet, which is great. So, but I'm going to turn the margin into a variable. So --m, and then the height into a variable as well. --m, 180, and actually. Let's turn the border radius into a variable too, just in case we need that. And I've got height as --m, and it should be --h. Okay, so now we got it a second one. I can address it, a second paragraph element. So p plus p gives me the sibling, and that's what comes after. I'm going to add a ridiculous color so I can see this guy. And then our margins need to be negative to move it up. --m minus 100, there it is, and then 100, 30. Okay. We're gonna have to unset the border, I think. Yeah, we're gonna have to unset the border because that's clipped out. Unless we used a clip path, which we could do. Okay, so let's get the sizing right. So more negative on the top, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 200, 210, 220, and then more margin for 142. Okay, and then our height we need to alter --h. Like let's just start at ridiculously small numbers, and there it is. So now we have most of that shape. So what do we need to do? Can we leave that? We have to unset the border. Do we have to unset the border? We don't have to unset the border. Let's see what it looks like if we do that. We could use a whole other element and then create this background. Or we could clip path. Let's try for the clip path. I feel like this might be a mistake, but it's what I feel like this morning. I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 points is a lot of points. I mean, that's a lot of code. It's definitely, so that's going to be, that's no good. Let's not do that. But that means we would like to unset our border. So I'm going to set that as a variable as well. B for border. And then I'm going to unset it. B unset. Okay. I believe that's correct. So now if I do this ridiculous background, nope, that didn't unset the border. Border radius. Oh no, that's right. How come that's not unsetting? Oh, it just doesn't like the. Why isn't that working? Border. Oh, it's not unset. How about none? There it is. Why doesn't unset work there? That surprises me. Unset should be a keyword that would unset the value of that element, but apparently unset is not doing its job there, and I don't know why, but that's interesting. But I'm not going to sweat it now, but that is a little wrinkle that I don't understand. Maybe because I'm mistyping or some other silly reason, but always fun to encounter little nuances like that in my code. All right, so how do I get this look? So we're setting a background. Can we do that with a single gradient? I think what it has to be is a conic gradient, but I'm concerned that it's going to be, a little bit too tall. Conic gradient, which is going to be this color, 75%, and then this dark, and then it's you could have a height 0. It's 100% wide, and it just needs it needs a height 20 pixels. So there, that's how you get that. How about 50? How about 40? That kind of looks right, but I mean the position is wrong, and then also it's a bunch of them, and it shows the problem with a single conic gradient being the solution to this. All right, so that means we need to move it vertically. 20 pixels, 30, 40, Is that a match? Yeah, so that's doing it. But we also need another linear gradient. In which case, is there a single linear gradient we can do? Yeah, that makes this kind of not great. So let's do a linear gradient instead, and then constrain it by size. I think that's the right way to do this. So it's going to be this dark color, this color, and then this dark color. Yeah, and then it's going to be 50%, 0, so it's going to be 0. It's going to start at 0 on the x-axis and then be in the middle. 40 pixels, no, 100% wide, or actually 1Q wide is fine. And then 50% wide, and then no repeat. Oh, no, I can't do 1Q. I gotta do 50%, don't I? Yeah, I think that's correct. And then I need a backup color for the rest of it. Okay. So that height, oh, and it's not 50% tall. Is it 40% tall? Is it 38%? How about 40 pixels? 50, 60. And then it's 3 numbers. So 20 pixels, 0, 40 pixels, and 0. Let's submit that and see if that is good. Curious to see that. If that's doing it. That is 100% match. Yeah, definitely a lot of nuance to this one. The having to unset the borders for some reason, and then I didn't even try the clip path, even though I love a clip path. But 12 points is just gets to the painful aspect, right? I mean, I guess we could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points, and then put this in the background somewhere. But this is good. This is good. I like this solution. So let's minify, and then we're gonna do a little bit of cleanup. One of the things that is on my to-do list is to tune my minification code a little bit, so I don't have to do this. All right, so yeah, so I've got that border none is the value that I'm putting into --b, but if I merely set the variable and put nothing after it, and then have no rules after it, that also will do it. I'm not sure if that's a part of the spec that makes sense, but that certainly seems to be how it works. Okay, let's submit that, and we're done with this guy. I like this guy. He's a lot of fun. I don't know if this is a logo. I think it's a logo for somebody. It looks a little like a microphone. A fun shape. All right, well, that's a better score than I've gotten in the past, but I think the approach here is pretty. I don't know that you have many other choices other than to use a border to get this particular set of shapes without doing a lot of gradients or more exotic things. All right. This is like a little face, huh? Okay, fun. So what's the way to do this? You know what I find myself wanting to do is, and I've talked about it before, is can we do it all? Could we do all of this or most of this with box shadows? Can we? It's a terrible idea, but can we do it? Maybe. How about 40 pixel? So inset, let's set a color. Inset 50 pixels, 50 pixels. And there it is. And I guess we need to set a margin, huh? Yeah, we do. Margin 0. All right, we can get a lot of the way there. 100 over, 110 over, and then 60 down. And then the same thing again, but negative. Yeah, probably the same thing. So that's a fair amount of code for just that. All right, so what next? Can we do more insets? Let's put a background on the body so we can see what we've done. Again, we'll use our ridiculous red. And then if those are 20 pixels, 130 pixels, 80 pixels. Not big enough. How about 140? There it is. And 90. And then the same thing again. They need to be negative. Yeah, negative. Bump and bump. Okay, so not very efficient, but let's stick with it. That's fine. Okay, and then how about another one? Inset 0 minus. Let's see. So what's the number now? Actually, I don't know. Let's say 0 minus 130. Too much. How about 120? There it is. And then another one, inset 0 minus 1. Can't do math. 140 pixels. And then white 150. I'm just going to be off by 10 each time. That's great. And why stop there? Okay, so inset too far over. What? 180, 170, off by 10 again. So we're just using inset values, moving over. Don't use a trailing comma. Again, points out how brittle CSS is and sensitive to problems with case. And I'm just going to keep going. Okay. So this be, if it's 30 between 230 and y, and then now we'll do background. Huh. So that is an extremely silly way to do this. But I kind of love it. Let's minify and unit replace. Are there other spaces we can remove? Yeah, we can remove all the spaces before. Oh, no, we can't. Not all of them. But we can remove a bunch of them. All right, let's submit that. So that's all inset gradients to create a little happy face. That's fun. That's super fun. And it's a better score than I've gotten in the past. So there's your proof that good code doesn't necessarily. All right, so that's a kind of a silly way to do that one. But in fact, it's extremely silly, and I was saying that the whole time. All right, so let's do a blank template again. Let's do this one again because why not? It's fun. All right, so let's put the background on. Great. Let's do a border. Border. Okay, so I'm using borders, and let's use margins on the element, not, yeah, okay, so 30, 40, 50, 60, and then 100. Then the height is wrong, 120. We are close. All right, so let's set this border, and we'll set a ridiculous inside color so we can make sure that we see what we see. 1, 2, there it is. Okay, so how little code can we write to get this background? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. So background, linear gradient, and we'll do white, and we'll do white 50%, so 50% tall. These stripes are all, they're uniform, so we can use a lot of percentages here. So that's that. And then if we constrain it to be 0, 50%, 50%, then we get stripes. All right, so we get that for free. So let's do that flopped because it's centered, but we can still use that. Okay, great. All right, so what do we need to do to cover this up? Another linear gradient at 90%, or 90 degrees rather. And it's at 0, 0. It's got to be 100% tall. Actually, it can be 1Q tall, 100% wide. No, it can't be. But yeah, it can be. Yeah, okay. No, 50%. Repeat X. What am I doing there? 25%? No, it's 50%. Overthinking it. There we go. Okay, so then we can flop these. There it is. So that's also small. Also a choice. Probably a little cleaner. You'll notice that I was able to do a little bit more algorithmic, right? So there's a repetitiveness about inset, 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 box, box shadow. And that's a better score too. So, okay, fun. So that's 2 ways to do this guy. The little smiley face, but you know, not a lot of code. Oh, and then let's remove our extraneous background red, which we absolutely don't need. So background on the body. We got margins to set the size. We got a height. Border is, and the color doesn't have to be 6 characters. And then we resubmit. That's it. That's a fun one. That's fun. There are so many ways to do this one that it makes my head spin. But we did 2 today, so that's great. And look at this guy. He's fun. All right. So what is this? What is the background that gets this look? I think it's 2 elements. I mean, I'm not sure how it wouldn't be 2 elements. And we're going to need to set margins on this. So let's do 2. And we're going to set a background of the official pink that has been provided by CSSBattle.dev. And there we go. We need a margin of. Okay, so margin. What margins do we need? 20, 30, 40. I just do margin 40. And then do margin margin 10, and let's do 10, 20. Okay, so now we have two elements that are exactly the right size. So we have two choices. I think the way I want to do this background is to knock out the colors. I mean, we got a circle there. I mean, let's radial gradient. Why not? So is there a way to do this? So two radial gradients. We'll do the first one at 0, 0. Have it be, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Terrible number for percentages and for math. 40 pixels. Circle at 100% 0. Transparent. And then this color, 40 pixels wide. And then red. All right. What do we have there? What even is happening? 40 pixels, 0. Okay, so problem, 100%, 50%. That's what we want. Well, that's how you get semicircles. So how do you keep the semicircles from going nuts, I guess is the question. And do we even want that? Maybe it's not at 100% 0, it's 0% 0. And then the width of this is what, 50? That's how we get 6 of them, so we need a different number. 6, 50, 40, 50? Done. Okay. All right. So that's our start. So that's how you get that guy. Okay, so I think that so I had an idea, and I didn't voice it. Sorry about that. Of doing a gradient for one semicircle and a gradient for the other semicircle. The problem is that one won't cover the other, or one will cover the other, and you don't want that. So instead, we'll turn it upside down. And then we need a gradient on top of everything to do this circle. And that's another radial gradient with a constrained width. So do circle red, blue at 0, 0. That's, I guess it's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those sections. That makes it 200 pixels wide. And it's got to repeat not on the x-axis, but on the y-axis. And then you get a circle like that. Okay. So these are terrible colors. Sorry. That's this. And then 50 pixels. And then 0. What we need, and then we need to cover it with this dark color. And then we need to place it at 50 pixels, 150 pixels. There it is. And that's how you get that shape. Are there other things we can do there? I guess we can make this transparent. Yeah, since we're already, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I wish I liked this more. It is functional. I feel like there are opportunities for really interesting repeating gradients. I've seen some great code pens with circular patterns repeating. They could get you really great interesting like tile patterns and just really cool algorithmic art type things. And that's obviously not what's going on here. All right, what else can we do? We're on the element there, so this 50 VW, I don't think we can do turn it into a percent, yeah, except what is that, 2/3, yeah, that's 2/3 of the element, and that's not suitable for percentagizing without doing repeating decimals. All right, so that's good. That was a fun set of solved problems here from February the 9th, 10th, and 11th of 2024. Thanks for following along. Hope you enjoyed them. Definitely enjoyed doing this one two different ways. Little faces. You can add little faces, and that's all you got to do. It's great. Now, if you want to put text in this guy, you got a problem because like you would need to do a nice contrasting color to make it visible, and that's not too easy. So how practical is this with these these extreme colors? But you could do more more subtle colors. That might be interesting. Like if I set never mind. I had some interesting thoughts there, but make cool stuff with HTML. What will you do today with HTML? I think it's going to be a time of great personal publishing, and make web pages and use CSS and share your stuff with the world. All right, take care. It's rough out there. Bye-bye.